Good morning, and thanks for joining us. This is the Morning News on WSBA. I'm Gary Sutton.
And I'm Chris Tyler.
WSBA News Time, again, 7:40 here this morning. And we are joined by Jeff Lenard, the Vice President, Strategic Industry Initiatives for the National Association of Convenience Stores. That might be the first time, Jeff, I've ever been able to say that correctly without stuttering on it, so I'm rather proud of myself this morning.
You win.
Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Jeff, you wrote a great piece the other day. You said it's not quite bah humbug, but consumer pessimism lingers here in the country. And you're a guy that kind of has your hand on the pulse out there. Talk a little bit about that article.
Betting or predicting or looking at what's going on with Christmas is really like a big thing now in terms of holiday sales. And I know the one thing we have going into the year is that it's the shortest time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
Right.
A lot of retailers are concerned about that to begin with. And we do monthly surveys looking at gas prices and pessimism. Now, gas prices, besides the jump yesterday, are about at their lowest point of the year, yet pessimism for the last 4 months has stayed high. So there's something out there that's bugging people. There's multiple things out there that's bugging people. And what we were just trying to say is that, hey, you know what? They aren't really upset. They aren't really not in the Christmas spirit. But if you're a retailer and you're hoping to make some money over the holiday season, you really need to pay attention because there's an angst out there.
So what caused prices to jump in just the last couple of days here?
Well, I know in the Midwest it was all weather-related, and it was related to the fact that the transport trucks couldn't get on the roads with the icy conditions. It's not the snow, it's the ice.
Right.
And when there's only so much product out there, what happens is nobody wants to not have product, so everybody bids up the remaining product, and that can create a short-term price spike. It's the last ones that want to have high prices now are the retailers because, like I was saying, Christmas shopping. People are out there on the roads. You want them to come to your place and, hey, maybe even pick up things like that winning lottery ticket on Friday. It is likely a short-term thing. Transport trucks just weren't able to get on the road.
So that has a ripple effect then around the country, Jeff?
It has anywhere that the fuel is going. I know
Right.
It was a big deal in the Midwest. I could sound like an old man and talk about the kids being home for 2.5 days for what I saw as nothing more than a dusting. We got 2.5 days off when we had 28 inches of snow. So.
And we had to walk uphill in 100-degree heat to do it, right? I mean,
Both ways.
Yeah, exactly. Now, women seem to feel significantly worse about the economy than men. 66% saying they're pessimistic compared to 56% of men. What's that about?
I think that just goes to the long-held belief that women handle the purse strings, and they are more likely to do the day-to-day shopping at the grocery store and places like that. So they're more likely to notice upticks in prices for a lot of the staples. Us men, we may not do that as much, and then we go out and we buy a big fancy toy and we say, what?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's probably where it relates. Now, those are broad generalizations.
Sure.
But in general, I think women see the day-to-day changes in prices more than men.
You know, we have a lot of volatility today. For example, with the 16 cents going up on gas. And we're not quite sure why that happens. I think you've done a good job of explaining this morning as well as anyone. But the other part is, we have still Obamacare out there and the thought that prices are going to go up. We haven't seen that whole picture just yet. And so people, and I keep saying this and it probably gets old, instead of having periods at the end of the economic sentence or exclamation points at the end of the economic sentence that allow us to really sit down and plan a budget, we have lots of question marks that still remain out there. Is that a decent offer on why we might have so much volatility?
I think that explains what's going on with angst. I think
Yes.
that you see all these things about the Congress, what they do or what they don't do, concerns over Obamacare. There's just an awful lot of things looming out there that are just making people just anxious. And even though, and also I think it's when there is not a full understanding of something for whatever reason, you tend to assume the negative when things are feeling rough. And the perfect example, a couple of years ago, I wrote a thing for our members about the flower guy, and my presumption was when you go to walk out of the metro, and there's a guy selling flowers every day. Well, the day before Valentine's Day and the day of Valentine's Day, prices doubled. And my first reaction was, why that? You know what?
Right.
And then I asked him, I said, well, what's the deal? Why are you doubling your prices? He said, my wholesaler doubled his prices. And so what happens is things happen, demand increases. It's the same thing with gas, where this poor guy is the guy sitting there trying to make a living, and he's the one I'm blaming for the higher prices, but he's just passing them on through. So it was an education to talk to him that day. But what happens is when you don't have information or you don't understand what's going on,
right,
you assume the negative because there are so many concerns out there.
And there's so many kinds of problems like that today where people just don't understand the whole domino effect that it has up through. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us this morning. If we don't get a chance before the Christmas time comes, Merry Christmas to you and a very Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, and maybe we'll talk next week because the lottery is going to be $400 million on Friday. It could be higher. We could be talking at $500 million.
Wow.
So that could make a nice stocking stuffer.
Why don't we talk? We'll chat next week about that. Okay, we'll see what happens, and of course, we'll be getting our tickets right away.
Yeah.
Jeff, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care, Jeff Lenard, who is with the National Association of Convenience Stores, here on the Morning News.